Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
It's my pleasure to welcome you to this very short media briefing. As you can see, my name is Ola Lukoye, the Executive Chairman of the EFCC. I have here with me some of my top operatives and my colleagues. We are here this afternoon to let Nigerians know about the new development in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that sometime January 2025, we filed a charge against the STY Minister of Power for allegedly converting over 33 billion naira, money that was set aside for Mandela and Nigerian power project. About 15 months down the line, specifically on the 7th of this month, we secured conviction on all the 12 counts. But because the main defendant was not present then, we went into ID. Nigerians will know. The issue of sentencing was shifted. And on the 13th of this month, he was sentenced in absentia. Since then, we have decided to open our intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, looking for him all over the place. And I'm happy to announce to Nigerians that at about 3:30 a.m. this morning, we arrested Mr. Saleh Mamman somewhere in Kaduna. This is a test of the commitment of the federal government of Nigeria to the fight against corruption in Nigeria. And to assure Nigerians that anyone who has pilfered government or national resources will not go unpunished. And the eagle eye of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission will always catch up with you wherever you are hiding. So it's important for us to let Nigerians know that we are working. There is no area that we will not go into. We will not leave any area unturned or untouched, just for us to ensure that we fulfill our mandate and to assure Nigerians that we will uphold our mandate, ensure that everyone, whether private or public person who has stolen Nigerian money, will be investigated and be brought to book. Thank you very much. And that is the news we want to go to Nigeria. So where is he? It's in our custody at the moment. It's in our custody at the moment. So any question?
But sir, when the court ruled the other day, they said you should hand it over to the correctional facility when it is arrested.
Okay.
You also know whether it is right to go to correctional facility. Since it's already convicted and been sentenced.
That's right. I did tell you that the man just got arrested about 3:30 a.m. this morning, and there is no way we will just from there take him to correctional facilities, since we have our holding facilities there. But I will allow the prosecutor, the director of public prosecution, Mr. Mgbeke, who actually prosecuted that case, to answer that question.
Thank you, sir, Chairman. So, as you are all aware, my Lord sentenced the defendants and equally ordered all security agencies, not only limited to the EFCC, ordered all security agencies to ensure that this defendant does not have a hiding place. And the beauty of collaboration and operation is what we are seeing displayed by the commission today. So barely a week after that order was made, we are now hearing in every news that my Lord's order has been complied with. So the process of transmitting him to the correctional center, I believe, is ongoing, and that is just the news that the thing we're here. That the conviction is not just another mean without execution. Now the conviction was made, judge sentenced, and now we are able to confront the man with the sentence. So he will have to go and have his days in the correctional center. Thank you, sir.
Sir, one question, please. One question, please.
Yes, please. Hold on. Yes.
Will the agency go after those who were concealing, who were protecting him from facing the law? Because he couldn't have gone into hiding without anybody supporting him. I don't know the house where he was arrested, whether family members who knew he was convicted who had been sent to, and yet he's kept it. With the law after that.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. We have discovered that he was actually being protected all this while. And where we effected the arrest, we arrested 2 other Nigerians with him alongside. And also the property, the ownership of the property and all of that, they are still under investigation. Because it's actually a crime for you to have or to protect or to give a protection to a convicted felon. First, it's a fugitive. And so we have arrested 2 other people on the outside, and we are investigating them. Bring the report back to the
Mr. Chairman, sir, 2 questions, please.
Can you tell us where he was arrested? And also, I recall the day of the sentencing, the DPP mentioned that asked the court for forfeitures of some properties that was recovered from the former minister. And I know that it was just about 2 properties, which was not even a fraction of the alleged amount he was said to have signed for. Is there still investigation as to recover more properties, or that was all what was recovered from him?
Thank you very much. To answer your first question, he was arrested somewhere in Gaza, and secondly, as I'm talking to you, because you see ongoing with respect to other properties that we suspect the man for. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago, we discovered another one. So we are still going to go after those properties. But with respect to the one that we have tried to the charges, of course,
Okay, sir. This is one of the, let me say, is a new case where it's a new situation where we have somebody granted bail and facing trial in court. We were low. What lesson has the service learned from this process? Especially, we are lucky to have found him here. If he had traveled to some states, from countries that we do not have, maybe does not have Interpol agreements, we find it difficult to bring him back to Nigeria. So, has the service learned any lessons from this process?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question as well. I also asked myself that question. Going forward, there is need for us to also review our processes, particularly as it relates to ongoing proceedings in court. For every high-profile case, as a matter of fact, for every corruption case, we must be able to put every defendant under surveillance. Because it's not in the interest of the country for somebody who is under criminal trial or criminal prosecution to escape from jurisdiction. So we're going to look at it, we're going to work with the court, we're going to follow all the legal and judiciary processes to ensure that we put all potential defendants, criminal defendants, under surveillance.